Hello and welcome to my video lecture on SOX, Sarbanes-Oxley. Um, so, uh, Hopefully you are aware of Sarbanes-Oxley, and if you are not, look it up on Wikipedia or something. But Sarbanes-Oxley is a piece of legislation that tries to control a whole host of information associated with publicly traded corporations and their information. So first of all, it requires companies to audit the access to sensitive data, which means on a regular basis, companies have to perform an audit to see who has access to their sensitive data and who has been accessing their sensitive data. The idea is to ensure integrity of public companies' financial statements. Can't have people gaining unauthorized access to publicly traded companies' financial statements or financial information, because that would give them a competitive advantage, and actually an illegal competitive advantage to manipulate stock prices. So a SOX audit would involve IT change management, logical access to data, and IT operations. So when it comes to IT change management, this is the process by which changes to operational systems and databases are authorized. Changes are dangerous. I like to compare this to when you're driving a car and you're changing lanes. All is well when you're driving along and you are pretty safe when you're staying in your lane and everything is good. But as soon as you need to take on the task of actually changing lanes, this is when you one, have to take your eye off the road where you're driving and look into the lane that you're moving into, which could cause you to swerve. All sorts of bad things can happen when you're changing lanes. So this is the same kind of thing when it comes to change management, when you're actually changing your operational systems and your databases, and you're making user authorization changes, things of that nature. That is something that Sarbanes-Oxley requires you to audit. For databases, any changes done to schemas, to the data configuration, to the updates to the database management system software. Again, software updates are there mostly for security. And then any segregation of duties or requirement of the segregation of duties. So the person developing, the person testing, and the person involved in putting something into production should be 3 different people. Again, to ensure that things are being handled in an above-board fashion. Logical access to data. First of all, you have to handle personnel controls. What are your hiring practices? Do you do background checking? Do you monitor employees? For instance, when I worked at UPS, we were always taught, if you don't check on someone when they're, say, loading a truck, you could take a perfectly honest individual and turn them into a criminal. Because if they know that nobody's watching them, they will be tempted to steal. So you have to keep an eye on your employees, so there has to be some kind of employee monitoring in place. There should be some kind of security training. And again, spoke about it in a previous slide, but there needs to be a separation of duties to make sure that not one person is handling change management from, say, soup to nuts. And then there's physical access controls. So swipe cards, locking of equipment, going back to the building, the equipment room, the actual server, the network, things of that nature. Screen placement, people looking over somebody's shoulder while they're working, or looking through a window while they're working. And laptops are a big problem when it comes to, oh, let me just take this laptop and I'll go home with it. Well, what information is on that laptop? So serious considerations are put in place as far as Sarbanes-Oxley for laptop protection. And then generally, IT operations, all your day-to-day policies and procedures, your infrastructure management, all your applications, your databases that are used in the organization. Specifically for databases, we're talking backup recovery and availability, which is really the topic and subject matter for just about the entire second half of the chapter. So that is the end of my video lecture associated with how Sarbanes-Oxley affects database management systems and security.